Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Ferris State Hockey, joined by head coach Bob Daniels. And Coach, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Rob.
Hard to believe hockey season is here. Opening weekend this coming weekend as you travel down to Miami of Ohio for a big two-game series.
Yeah, it always seems like it takes forever to get to this point. Guys came back in early August, and it seems like it's so far away. Then all of a sudden we get here, and it's like, oh, where did time go? But the guys have been training hard. We've had a great summer. We've got some good additions to the program, great returners. So we're excited. We're really looking forward to it. Miami's going to be a great contest for us. And, I think both teams are coming off seasons where it was a step forward in some respects, but not as much as either program would like it. So each school's got, we all want to get off to a fast start. We got a lot to prove. And, I always feel like you learn the most about your team after that first weekend, because you have these thoughts, ideas, you see them in practice, but you don't really know where the holes are, where you really should spend all your time in terms of improvement until you see another opponent. And so I look forward to this weekend. Like I said, it should be great hockey, and then that'll give us a lot to chew on come early next week.
Maybe talk about the preparation you guys have put in since they reported back to campus, and obviously you've had a little bit of time to work with them. Maybe talk about the effort and the work they put in.
Yeah, they've put in a ton of work, and Dave essentially does an outstanding job as our strength and conditioning coach. I think we're in really superior shape. A couple of years ago, coming off of COVID, I thought we were like over 40-year team. We weren't in Division I shape. We had so many young kids, and then missing all of the fall training really impacted our team. We took a step in the right direction last year, showed in the wins column where we were far superior than the previous year. And this year, I think we're ahead of where we were a year ago. So I like where we're at. The guys have put in a ton of work. We've been able to get on the ice this week, full-fledged practices. We've been on the ice off and on since the first day of school, under limited time that the NCAA gives us. So we're ready, though. We're ready to play, and it's time now we saw somebody new.
As you look at some of your returning guys from last year, what do you see as some of the strengths of this year's team?
Well, Bradley Merrick was the Rookie of the Year last year in the CCHA, and obviously he's returning. We're returning a very experienced defensive core with Brendan Rons and Blake Evanow and Brandon Schulteis and Luke Farthing. So our D core has gone from one the last few years where we felt we were inexperienced to one that's very experienced. And in net, this is as strong as we've been in a long time, but Noah Geisbrecht as well as Logan Stein. I mean, they look great. It's hard to believe one's basically a sophomore and the other one's a COVID sophomore, if you will. But I think they both have NHL potential. They've got size, they've got athleticism, they're both technically solid. So I think the strength of our program is going to be from our back end, the goaltenders and our defensemen. And where we, up front, while I like our talent level, we haven't identified yet a Gerald Mayhew, Chris Kunitz type player. And while I like the depth of our offensive talent, we need some guys to emerge as top-line players at the Division I college hockey level.
Obviously, you open with Miami this weekend. Some tough non-conference games here early that should help prepare you well for the CCHA.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got Miami, and then all of a sudden we play Michigan Tech and Western Michigan the following weekend at home. Well, I like that we're going to get two different opponents on the same weekend. Both those teams are very good. Both are coming off NCAA appearances a year ago. Then we have Canisius, coached by Trevor Large. And we played them a year ago, split. I think we lost the Friday night game and bounced back to win on Saturday. But they'll be a veteran team, well coached by Trevor. As I said, he's an alum of Ferris State, played for us, and an outstanding young coach.
As you talk about the CCHA and now the second year of the new CCHA, what's the league been like here as you get this group kind of back together?
Well, again, this will be our first really non-COVID season in a while, or let's hope it's non-COVID. So I think the CCHA did a terrific job rolling out our brand last year, given that there was a COVID situation. But we've got great leadership in Don Lucia as commissioner. and then Kevin Langseth, that's Director of Officials. And then the conference itself the hockey's tremendous. We had 3 teams in the NCAA tournament last year. We're hoping to get 3 in again this year. It's starting to become recognized as one of the premier conferences in all college hockey.
Obviously, one of the highlights of this year's schedule in the non-conference season is the appearance in the Great Lakes Invitational, the GLI, which is going to take place at Van Andel Arena over the holidays.
Yeah, we're so excited. It's the longest running collegiate hockey tournament in the nation, and it's always been played down at the home of the Red Wings, whether it was Joe Louis Arena or Little Caesars Arena. Now it's moving to Grand Rapids, Van Andel Arena. The teams that are participating is Michigan Tech, Michigan State, Western Michigan, and ourselves. And it's 4 great schools, 4 great college hockey schools. All we have, 3 of the schools are within an hour drive of Grand Rapids, which is amazing. And Michigan Tech has a huge alumni following in Grand Rapids. So I would think that this would be a well-attended tournament. We're hoping that this becomes an annual thing down in Van Andel and Grand Rapids. Great city. I mean, it's a beautiful city. There's lots to do. So not only are you going to come for a great weekend of collegiate hockey, but then there's also lots of museums, bars, restaurants, art, that can be taken in. So I'm looking forward to that tournament, and I know our players are as well.
Obviously, you mentioned after Miami, you play Michigan Tech, Western Michigan at home. Hopefully now with some of the COVID behind us, we start to get some big crowds back into the Ava Glavin Ice Arena for what should be an exciting season.
Well, I hope so, because over the years we've really fed off our crowd, and I think we missed them dearly. During that homestand. It wasn't too many years ago where I believe we were undefeated through the whole season at home, and that speaks highly to the boost we get from our crowd, particularly our student section, and we're hoping to get those people back in. And we know it's not going to be easy coming off COVID. Right now things are while they're opened up, things are kind of moving a little bit slow, but we'd love to have everybody back and get that electricity going through Ava Glavin Ice Arena.
As you travel to Miami this weekend, what do you see as some keys for your team to have some success here on the ice this weekend?
Well, there's areas that I'd like to see some improvement on from a year ago. I think 2 areas that really jump to mind. It's really on the defensive side, but we'd like to reduce the amount of penalties we take. And I thought last year we took too many penalties in the offensive zone. And why our arena leads to more penalties, because it's a smaller ice surface. The action always seems to get pushed in front of the net. So, you're going to have more altercations from both teams if you look at it. But nevertheless, we took too many penalties a year ago. We took too many in the offensive zone. Early on, we took some 5-minute majors, which are all, that kills the team when we take a 5-minute major. So we need to be more disciplined. And the second part of it is I think we can be quite a bit more intelligent, is probably the best way to say it, with our puck management. Particularly early last year, I thought we weren't very good with our puck management. Turnovers left us vulnerable to counterattacks. So one of the big things we worked on this year is making good decisions with the puck, not skating ourselves into an area where all of a sudden the best play is just a blind pass or to throw something diagonally through the rink, but make those decisions, make them early, move the puck, or worst case scenario, get it up off the pane of glass and go ahead and chase it back down, but not have those turnovers deep in our end through the neutral zone that leave us vulnerable.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck this weekend as you travel to Miami of Ohio.
Good to be here, Rob. Thank you.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.